Good morning. Appreciate y'all for tuning in and rocking with us for another edition of the Morning Breeze, man. Always rocking with you guys, as always, man. Outside of me, I got my guy, Mr. Media himself, Jordan JC, in the building.
Is this thing on? Am I here? Am I back? I think
the best show for Chicago sports.
We back. Stop playing around with us. Appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page. Leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. Oh, another edition of the Morning Breeze, the less frozen edition. Even though it's cold out there, dog.
It is.
I got my cup of coffee.
Oh, boy. I'm not prepared.
We got mugs and merch coming, baby.
Hey.
All right. Show.
Nice.
Yeah, a little sneak peek there. You'll see it throughout the show.
Oh, nice.
We want to talk about ESPN put out the top 50 free agents and the best fits for each of their team. And the Chicago Bears in line for 2 of those top 50 free agents. We've got to talk about, do we agree? Do we like the fact that we're in line for 2 of those? The names that are attached, do we want those? And some of the ones that aren't, do we feel like the Bears maybe need to get in position for that? Ladies and gentlemen, the date is 2/18/2025, 7:05 in the morning. Enjoy JC. I'm unfroze. Let go.
All right.
Free plug. Oh, big advertising show. I blinked it already after that.
Oh, boy, that was fun yesterday.
Appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do.
Come on.
Oh, yeah.
Push the button. Come on. Push the button. Come on, push the button.
Yeah, come on, push your button.
You heard what she said.
Y'all heard what Sue Young said. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, man. Leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. Man, listen, shout out to y'all for rocking with us. Apologies for the internet yesterday. I had a nice gentleman from Xfinity come through about 11:45, and he got in here, and it put a little pressure on him. My wife was talking about me because I was like, listen, I'm gonna have to throw on the white man's voice today. I mean, it's in there. You know what I mean? It's in there. Oh, look, Pat the designer. He'll turn into Pat Moranzoni real quick. Hey, buddy, you're on thin ice, pal. You and your company. Am I going to have to go to management? You son of a, don't you play with me. I know Matt Eberflus. Oh, ran out of internet, did you?
Oh, man. Oh, he's got the Wade voice ready.
Oh, I was ready to go, man. I was ready to go. And then he walked in and was like, yeah, it's probably the modem. I was like, fine. All right. Thank you. Swap that out for me. Appreciate you. But no, man, listen, a lot to get into on today's show. I think there's a lot of fun places we can go with this topic. First things first, George JC, how you doing, my guy?
Oh, feeling good, man. Yeah, just had me nervous there yesterday. Didn't know how to angle.
First off, Breeze Nation, clap it up for Jordan JC.
No,
clap it up for Jordan JC. Did a phenomenal job. What a pivot. The start was a little tough.
Yeah,
the start was a little tough. He was like,
"Hey guys, I should have ended the show right there."
Can y'all hear me?
There's this little X down here called Leave Studio. I should have just pressed it.
You're just gonna leave the screen.
I'm out of here, guys.
Hey, Jordan got called on at the toughest moment ever and handled it like a champ. Kept that motor float, bailed the water out, did everything he had to do. Phenomenal co-host right there.
Don't
was
do
some
that
great
again.
stuff. Well, that's the hope. I did drop that bar when they walked in. I was like, "Hey, I work at ESPN, man. I can't be losing connection." Buddy did not give a rat's, what? No,
Yeah, whatever,
like,
man.
he was like, "Yeah, we'll swap the modem." I don't know what you want from me.
Sounds good, buddy.
I got one problem fixed. Now I got another problem, JC, because
let's do it.
it's cold down here, dog. I'm not.
Yeah, I was about to say, I'm the one with the suit on. You got the hoodie on today.
Why I'm not suited and booted today? It's because I don't have a wool suit. That's why I'm not suited and booted today, dog, at all.
I don't blame you. It is cold out there.
It's the studio is kind of set up. We're getting stuff in place. We're getting stuff, it's insulated, all that.
Yeah.
But do it as you're freaking working. So it's still got to look like this. Man, look. It's real winter temperatures down here. Now, it ain't the -6 that's outside. And shout out to all the collar workers that's out there in it. Love doing shows like this on days like this to help y'all take your minds off. But it ain't the regular -6. But, hey, bro, it got to be 40.
You know why I'm actually probably a little bit warmer than you? I just realized this. You're in the house, so heat rises, right? So you're in the basement. You're in the worst position. I'm on the second floor of an apartment, so the guy below me probably has the worst of it right now.
Oh, that poor guy.
I'm doing okay. I'm a little warm.
But y'all see the difference is, right? So I don't have a ceiling in here yet because I tore the ceiling.
Oh,
so y'all got ceilings. So I got a heater back there that technically is heating the room, but it's all going up there.
Up there, yeah.
It's cold down there. But hey, man, let's talk a little bit of football. That's what the people came here to hear about. The Chicago Bears, listed in ESPN's latest article written by Matt Bowen. Shout out to Matt Bowen. Wrote the 2025 NFL free agency's best team fits for the top 50 player. Number one player. Now, this is he must already have this in because it's expected that the Bengals are going to figure something out here with T. Higgins. I believe I saw that come out yesterday. But he said best fit for T. Higgins was the Washington Commanders. He also has him as the number one free agent. Don't want to see that. Yeah. Please re-sign this man.
That's that would be nasty.
Please re-sign this man, bro.
Yeah.
But number two is our beloved name that we have talked about ad nauseum at this point.
Yep.
Guard Trey Smith says the best fit for Trey Smith is our beloved Chicago Bears.
Oh, yeah.
Calls him the top interior lineman on the market. Said Smith would upgrade a critical position of need in Chicago. Smith is a powerful mover in the run game, and his run block win rate of 75.1% ranks sixth among guards. Plus, he has the foot speed to mirror interior defenders and the strength at 6'6", 321 pounds. That's a man. To anchor against bull rushes. Bears general manager Ryan Poles could make a splash move to rebuild the front office for Ben Johnson's new offense. The Bears allowed a league-high 68 sacks in 2024, so this area has to be addressed. Now, we did talk about this a little bit yesterday, JC, and I know you were in there, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. I would love to get Trey Smith in here. I think he is the best fit for the Chicago Bears. I think he is the answer that the Bears are looking for at one of their four positions of need on the offensive line. But if Travis Kelce decides that he wants to retire, that opens up a good chunk of money for the Kansas City Chiefs to keep him. What do you think is the realistic scenario now that the Chicago Bears can get Trey Smith out if Kelce were to retire?
I'll be honest, even before the whole Kelce scenario came up, we talked about the fact that when we looked at the Super Bowl, the Kansas City Chiefs clearly needed to prioritize their line. We talked about, do they go the route of paying Trent McDuffie?
There you go.
Good. Playing and praying. No, you got to pay. Paying Trent McDuffie over Trey Smith. And, who's the more important piece at this point based off of the results of the big game. And it was clear that they needed better protection. They definitely need better protection at tackle. They need to retain the guys that they have. And so the question was, well, will he even see the market? Will Kansas City prioritize Trey Smith first? Now that we've gotten this, assumption or rumor that, maybe Travis Kelce is going to hang it up. I'm going to be honest with you with the results. I don't know if they will. I feel like he will come back, but let's just say he does, retire. That clearly clears up some money for the Chiefs to pay Trey Smith and make him the most expensive guard or richest guard, I should say, in the league. And so, unfortunately, that puts a lot of pressure on the Bears to, I don't know if there's a way that they can try and, challenge that, but it puts a lot of pressure on the Bears to try and match it or pay even more money than they may have expected.
Well, that's what I was going to say. You could challenge it with money, right? That's kind of where the challenge comes in. You can always challenge it with money. The question is, where's your line on the money? And I think that's the thing, right? I said 22 to 25. I'm not paying a guard $30 million. I love Trey Smith. But 30 M's to a guard, like there are much better positions that have to be prioritized. And that may be the conversation you have to get yourself into if the Kansas City Chiefs are like, hey, look, we're not letting him go. We're bringing him back. We're offering him a 4-year, $100 million contract.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll offer him a 4-year, $110 million contract, right? Like now you're getting into that bidding war, and eventually it's like, I love the production of Trey Smith. I think he's an answer. At the end of the day, you've got the money to spend it. I say spend it, but you do have to allocate that money smartly in my mind. And it depends on, I guess then, right, if you invest heavily in a Trey Smith like that, does that mean that it just, whatever you do in the offseason free agency wise, you have to just go full opposite in the draft? You know what I mean? Like it puts you in a tough position where it's like you're paying $30 million to a guard. What the heck are you going to pay your left tackle? Like, I feel like it sets a tough precedent for you moving forward when you got to pay everybody.
It does. I mean, you're putting a lot of money into one person that is essentially one of the better players at his position. But I was trying to scroll up, but I did see a really good comment by Stephen J that mentioned that, it's not the end of the world if we were to pass up or not be involved in getting Trey Smith. There's other guards out there. You have the likes of Mekhi Becton, who also played in the Super Bowl as well. He's coming off of a 1-year deal, prove-it deal, where he did prove himself, and he's looking to get paid as well. He'll come cheaper than Trey Smith. You have other guards out there that essentially will address the deficiency on the Bears, because that's just how bad this line is. It's not like, Trey Smith or nothing. It's just that this offseason, we want to try and go for the best of the best of the best. As a Bears organization, we always come up short in trying to acquire the best, whether it be coaching, whether it be overlooking talent, whether it be, because this guy is not a good fit in the locker room, he's a little bit too much of a he has a bad background or whatever. Like there's so many things that we overlook. Now's the time to try and go for the best. And so because Trey Smith kind of symbolizes that, that's why we want to continue to try and get him. Now, if we miss out on Trey Smith and Kansas City is smart enough to say we're going to re-sign him, then yeah, I'm fine with going other routes, in free agency. But honestly, he is the number one focus. He is the guy that I want in the building. And my price, I'm not too far off from you. Yeah, you said 20 to 25. I'd go as high as 27, because I feel like there'll be a war between Kansas City keeping him in Chicago, trying to put out a number that maybe Trey wants. So
yeah, no, you're gonna have to overpay for sure. I know that much. And if they set the market at 25, I think you are going to have to overpay him in that scenario. And I would go up to 26, 27, right? I'd try to get him. This ain't dollars. This is millions, right? So a couple more million makes a big difference.
Yeah.
But if it gets to like, 29, 30 range, now it's like, now you got to think about the future of building your team. Now you got to think about, if you got a $30 million guard, that means you're putting yourself in a position for a almost $40 million left tackle. Again, cap's going up. There's a lot of things that can work that factor in, but you have to think about how you're building the entire team out. And I think that does play a big part into this. By the way, haven't seen this in a while. Don Burr in the chat, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey,
Don Burr in the chat. Trying to come back as strong. Don, you can't come back as strong when you take a 2-month hiatus.
Come on, now. Don't talk trash already.
Don, you can't come back as chesty when you didn't get through a single round of the playoffs.
Boy,
Come on, Don. Trying to come in flexing, trying to show, hey, I'm back, I'm strong, baby. Jimmy Hopper was in here the next week. He took it on the chin.
Yeah. Shout out to Don Burr.
Yeah, I mean. Sorry, Jimmy. I didn't mean to do that. I mean, like, Jimmy was in here. His team lost. He was in here the next Monday. He was like, "Come on,
yeah, come on, let me have it." Yep.
Don ducked us for 2 months.
Don went to Cancun with his team.
What a vacation! Welcome back, Don. Appreciate you for coming back, man.
Yes, sir.
Don't wallow in despair, or do, you know what I mean? Yeah, Detroit, but no, man. I think Trey Smith is still a very interesting name. I think the fact that as well with Trey Smith is, just scroll a little bit down the article. Another top 30 free agent available to the Chicago Bears at number 26, best team fit. Might I interest you, Jared and JC?
Oh,
and a Drew Dolman.
Oh, is that right?
Said, I matched Trey Smith to the Bears, but this team can't stop this spring. Let's also put Dolman, the top center in free agency, next to Smith. Dolman wins his assignments with movement and leverage to offset a smaller frame, 6'3", 300 pounds. He's a tactician on the tape, best suited for the zone run game, and his pass blocking win rate of 95.1%, ranked 9th among centers with at least 500 snaps. He missed time due to an ankle injury, though. Now, here's my thing when it comes to Dolman, and it kind of goes to the Trey Smith conversation. How much are you willing to spend to get the best? Trey Smith, number 2 prospect or number 2 free agent on this list, the best guard that's available. Drew Dolman, number 26 free agent on this list, the best center that's available. If you tell me that we come out of free agency with the best head coaching candidate that people have said was on the market.
There you go, NJ. Oh, yeah.
The best defensive coordinator that was on the market.
Oh, you doggone right, Dennis Allen.
I'll throw it out there. The best wide receiver coach and DB's coach that were on the market, but that's a little bit of a stretch. We're getting a little too far in the weeds there.
I agree with
the
that.
Best center and the best guard.
You're the best.
What an offseason. You went big. You did something we never see the Chicago Bears do.
Oh, yeah.
You did something we never see the Chicago Bears do. You're swinging for the best. So you're going out and trying to spend money on the best of the best. And I love hearing, that people around the league are looking at this, and it's not just Bears fans going, well, how could I fit this piece in here and we make this work, and maybe we go out and we get this guy. And I get it. Mekhi Becton, also a great name that's on the list of guys that's out there, right? I understand that those other guys exist, that there are those guys that still can give you good production while saving you some money. That's how we've done things. Getting the second best guy is how we've done things.
Yeah.
That's what you traded a second round pick for, essentially, to go get a Montez Sweat. He's a really, really, really good player. Is he a number one? Until a real number one shows up. I know he was dealing with injury and stuff like that, but I think that makes it, where you're getting the best impact that you can if you go out and get the best of the best. I love hearing that they have Drew Dolman slated to the Chicago Bears here.
I do too. And again, like I just said, this is an organization that needs to change the culture, and part of it is going out and getting the premier talent that you need to put on this team to take that next step, right? As a team, as a staff, as an organization. But In my opinion, now that I'm thinking about it, would you say that center is actually more of a need than even guard? Because we're talking about Trey Smith, but even if we don't hit on Trey Smith, there's other positions, whether it be free agency or even in the draft, where guard is just completely heavy and there's a lot of talent that's coming out of college for that specific position. Versus center, where we've said we haven't had a really legitimate center since Olin. It's always been mixing and matching and bringing in guys that are were left guards, whether it was Cody Whitehair 1 minute, whether it was other players, the center from Green Bay that we picked up that got hurt immediately as soon as we got him. I can't remember his name offhand, but it like Lucas Patrick, and it's almost as if, could this be the more important piece to get Drew Dahlman? Because outside of Drew Dahlman, I believe I saw a list a while ago where the top centers in free agency would be Drew Dahlman, Ryan Kelly, and then Coleman Shelton, I think, was third.
Yeah, Coleman Shelton's in that list.
So do we need to make sure we got to make sure we get one or two? We can't go back to what Coleman was. Coleman was 6'5", 284 pounds. Drew Dahlman 6'3", 300, not too far off as far as height and weight, but Drew Dahlman has solidified himself as a decent center in this league. He's been doing it pretty well for a while now. So obviously that would still be an upgrade. I feel like this is the more important piece to get, honestly, in free agency if we're talking about a need on this line.
Yeah, listen, I mean, again, take PFF for what you will. I always say go watch the tape, and when you watch Drew Dahlman's bro, I saw a play yesterday of Dahlman where the ball was snapped. He got cooked. I mean, he got beat immediately.
Oh, boy.
But his recovery was so flawless.
Okay. All right.
That he still stopped. I want to say he was going up against Jalen Carter. I might be wrong on that, but I think he was going up against Jalen Carter. But I mean, it was a set hut. Oh, Skit, what a move. Hold on. Let me get over here real quick. Still makes the block, still gives his quarterback time to make a play, doesn't allow the pressure to get in his face. Like, those are the moments when you look at Drew Dahlman's tape where you're like, okay, this guy's got something here. And it's where I'll say this too, right? Oddly enough, it's in an offseason where clearly these are the kind of players that Ryan Poles covets.
Yeah.
A 6'3", 300-pound center. Whoa, are you kidding me? Undersized center that can move. I love this guy. But you've seen the actual talent out of Dahlman.
Yeah.
Versus, cutting the one guy who, y'all know it is. I mean, Coleman. You pick up the cut guy at the end of the day, and Coleman.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
It was bad.
Yeah. I think he's more of a backup than anything. And the funny thing is, we talk about him all the time, but he's always had a good mind for the game. It's just his size just doesn't equate to what he can do.
And I think that's the thing, right? Like, it's about actually being able to go out there and be a people mover. Dahlman has proven to be a people mover. Coleman Shelton just didn't. You know what I mean? It's not that he can't do it. It's just that he didn't do it. And he got, I don't know if that's because of the strength and conditioning. I don't know if that is because, I mean, his technique, I said it all season. His technique is fine.
Yeah.
He's literally Dahlman without the ability to stop somebody. Like, everything that I like about Drew Dahlman, Coleman Shelton does. It's just he gets moved and Dahlman doesn't.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would almost, I'll say this, and this may be a hot take after watching him this season. I would almost want to keep Coleman Shelton on the roster as a backup center. One, because he's worked with Caleb Williams already, so he has a rapport there. But two, because if Drew Dahlman has some secret that he can tell Coleman Shelton, like, no, man, you just like actually block him. You know what I mean? Like, you just stop them.
You just put your hands up like this.
Like when they try to stop you, when they try to move you, you just don't let them. Like, if he has some secret that would be like, you know what I mean? Like, that would be helpful to Coleman Shelton. I'd be interested because Coleman Shelton is Drew Dahlman just without any of the stuff.
Actually, a good point. Yeah, that's a good point. Then you also got Dan Richard coming in.
Oh, you like a Dan Richard, do you?
You know, as well. You know, that's a guy who could probably, especially over Chris Morgan. Jesus Christ, get him out of here.
Coleman Shelton is actually. This say 625. See, I got. Let me check PFF. This say 625. Man, I might be wrong on this. If he, okay, this got him 299. I was gonna say this said no, because Google said 6'5", 284. I'm like, Jesus.
Yeah, that's what I saw. 6'5", 284.
No, he's 6'5", 299. So
he's essentially heavier than no,
they the same weight. He a little taller though. He a little taller. He got a little more height on him. So
it evens out
maybe he's not getting down low enough. Maybe
yeah. You gotta
I don't know.
those feet. You gotta get a little bit more lower body strength. You know.
But when you look at PFF on Dahlman's grade, I mean, again, talking about swinging for the fences here, 4th best overall grade among all centers. He's got the 22nd pass blocking grade, but had a 66.6 grade. He was solid in pass block. He was really solid in pass block. And then a top 5 center in the run block game last season, 79.8 grade. Did allow 2 sacks, but only took 3 penalties last season in 554 snaps. Very smart player. So, yeah, I mean, like,
hey, bring him on.
I'd be in on it.
Yeah, I actually saw. I think it was King Booker World that said it earlier. I would still, and even I wouldn't mind Coleman Shelton being a backup or staying here to kind of see if there is some sort of mentoring or just development that has been missed with the previous staff over this staff, which clearly is better, at least on paper. I still wouldn't mind drafting a center. You know, somebody like a Jake Majors.
Yeah.
For the future.
I love a Jake Majors.
I wouldn't mind that. You know, even though Drew Dahlman, I believe, is still a young guy at 26. I believe he's still in his prime or going into his prime. So, you know, you set yourself up to try and succeed because, again, that is a position that has not really been successfully addressed since we've had Olin. So, again, I would love to kind of overhaul that.
King Booker World said, "No, that wasn't me."
No. King Booker World said draft a center and keep Dahlman. He said get Dahlman and draft a center. I wasn't talking about Shelton.
Keep Shelton.
We got MacGyver music in there. We know he wants people movers.
Oh boy, he's a big people mover guy. I will say this, and I think this is the one thing though. We talked about this yesterday, right? Would I love to draft a Jake Major? Sure. If I'm signing Coleman Shelton, I'm not drafting Jake Majors because where you're drafting Jake Majors, not Coleman Shelton. Breathe, boys. If I'm signing a Drew Dahlman, I'm not drafting Coleman Shelton because Coleman Shelton, dang it, Drew Dahlman
Jake
is
Majors.
26 years old.
You talking about Jake Majors? You're not drafting Jake.
Man, I'm all over the place. I got to stop looking at that. Let me close.
It's too cold down there, man. You
close that name out. I had a stroke right there. Y'all heard that? If I'm signing Drew Dahlman, I'm not drafting Jake Majors. There we go. Okay. Because Drew Dahlman, 26 years old, allows me to what I believe is long-term longevity at the position. Allow like that is something where you might take somebody in the 4th round to try and add some depth to the team. Maybe a 5th round pick there to try and add a little depth behind them. You're not taking a 2nd round center. If I'm taking a 2nd round center, he's playing.
Yeah.
I'm not drafting a 2nd round center and then going, hey, buddy, wasted a lot of capital on you. Go sit on that bench over there. when you're a top drafted player, you play.
Yeah.
That's just what it is. I heard somebody yesterday was in the comments and was like, you know, you're putting pressure on these guys to be good right away. Yeah, that's called getting drafted in the 2nd round of the NFL draft.
Yeah, that's the point. You play.
So I think you're counterproductive in that moment. And listen, like if you want to go get Jake Majors, if you think Jake Majors is the better center long term, go get Jake Majors. Don't spend on Drew Dahlman. Maybe spend on Ryan Kelly. You know what I mean? Maybe spend on if you feel but even then, it's like you're drafting a 2nd round center.
Yeah.
Like Ryan Kelly may be more intrigued to work with a guy and he has a little bit more flexibility, but at the end of the day, you're drafting a center to come in here and be the center of the future with Caleb Williams. Let that center learn how to be the center of the future with Caleb Williams.
Yeah, no, I'm all for that. Obviously, your first, I want to say 3 rounds is where you should expect people to start. You know, those are the rounds where you're getting guys to actually come in and fill a position right away, or at least challenge, in practice and in the offseason to get that position filled. R. Kelly in Chicago is wild.
Ryan Kelly.
Right. I see what you did there.
Do we call him that? Can we legally call him that?
I don't know.
Kels, what's going on, man? R. Kelly.
Right. You start singing. Watch out. I don't know.
Peeing on the defense.
Oh, what?
Hey, man, let's take a quick break. Listen into a word from our sponsors, and when we come back, I want to talk about the names not slated to the Chicago Bears that we have talked about as possibilities coming to this team. And do we feel like we need to see? Do we feel like we need to see Ryan Poles get involved enough to win those players over? We'll talk about all that and more coming up after this. Appreciate you guys for tuning in and watching the show. Today's episode of the podcast is brought to you by Aura. Have you ever done a Google search on your own name? You'd be surprised what pops up. Your full name, email address, home address, health records, your relatives. It's all out there. And that's why I've been using Aura, the sponsor of today's video. Aura shows me which data brokers are selling my information and automatically submits opt-out requests just for me. Cleaning up my information not only helps reduce the amount of spam I get, but it protects me from hackers who could use that information to help them access my social media, bank accounts, and other sensitive information. It's really simple to set up. I don't have to download several apps or go to things like antivirus, VPN, password management, parental controls, identity theft, but you can get all of that in one place with Aura. I get everything at one affordable price as well. You may already have one or two of these tools, but not having Aura is like leaving the front door locked while leaving the back door and windows wide open. For you to be able to take advantage of Aura, we got a special deal for you here today. Stop data brokers from exposing your personal information. Go to my sponsor at https://aura.com/the Windy City. Again, that is aura.com/the Windy City to get a 14-day free trial and see how much of your information is being sold. Oh, wrong button. Give it a sec, and there we go. You okay? You okay,
I'm sorry. You just opened up a can.
You see the comments in the chat going absolutely crazy right now.
Joel
with the Ryan Kelly.
Telling me no.
Oh, we got Don Burr's dad in the chat. What's going on here? Whoa. Jesus Christ. What a lie. Welcome back. Appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love to another edition of the Windy City Breeze Sports Talk Daily Morning Breeze edition. Glad to be up with you guys, man. Talking a little bit of Bears football. Glad to be up with you guys, man. For all you blue collar guys out there, man, bundle up, stay warm. Get you a Milwaukee electric jacket. To all my young apprentices out there that are like, I can't spend money. I don't have the money to spend on it. And I get it. Listen, I've been broke too. A lot. Most of my life. Almost all of it.
Yep. Right there with you, buddy.
Nothing helps you make more money than investing in yourself. Invest in a heated jacket. It will get you through life, and buy multiple batteries that you can have on the charger.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like that used to get me through days. You be out there -6 degrees, just
Bro,
freezing. I saw it.
would be, I'm trying still. God, these dudes.
Steve said 90% of my life broke.
Bro.
Up. 95, 98. I'm just now starting to get into the 2%.
Man, them people's gas days was they had no weather what was it, weather rules.
Man, and even if they do give you something, it ain't worth it. Yeah, I mean, like that must be. It'd be like, hey, we saw that it was a little chilly out here. We found this cardboard box for you to sit in and block the wind. How does that feel? How do you like that? Hey,
nothing changed.
We heard you guys were a little cold out here. We bought these latex gloves. Actually, we stole them from a hospital. And how does that feel for you? Does that keep you warm, sweaty hands? How's that going for you?
They used to give us these hot bags that lasted like 10 minutes. I'm like, dude, get this mess out my face.
Oh, the hot hand? No, they got some good hot hands out there. I ain't gonna lie. We had some good hot hands.
It didn't work. Didn't work for me.
Lozado said, man, I have the Milwaukee Electric jacket. Not working. It's coldish down here.
Jeez. Get you a Carhartt or something. Come on, man. Bundle up.
Well, you gotta have multiple layers. Yeah, I mean, I used to do Milwaukee Electric. I would do a hoodie. No, what I do? I do a hoodie underneath.
Oh, yeah, gotta go with the hoodie first. Yeah,
Carhartt on the outside to block the wind.
Ooh, oh yeah, you.
And then because we was they got it. It's called different. The balaclava was to keep us from getting shocked. I'll throw that on.
Okay,
but they have this one. I forget who makes it. I think the people that make the hot hands make it. It's like almost like a coat material outside, but it's a warming material inside, and it had holes in the side where you could put the hot hands in to keep your ears warm. Now you couldn't hear nothing.
That was smart. Yeah, but you'd be deaf forever. Yeah.
If somebody needed to tell you, you gotta go.
What'd say?
Let's say that chat. Let's talk a little more football, my boy. Because there's some interesting names that are on this same list that I thought were, we've talked about as people possibly slated to the Chicago Bears, and could the Bears go out and add that to the team that are not on the list?
Yeah, as
best team fit for the Chicago Bears. Josh Sweat, I think, was the first name that popped out to me. He's listed as best fit to the Arizona Cardinals. Said Cardinals coach John Gannon worked with Sweat in Philly, so he knows what he'd be getting in the 6'5", 265-pound edge rusher. Sweat had 8 sacks and 33 pressures in the regular season, and he took over at times in the Eagles Super Bowl win. Absolutely a monster. Recorded 2.5 sacks. Yeah. Sweat would add a much-needed pass rush to juice the Gannon's defense, using his speed and power to get to the quarterback. If Sweat is on the market, do the Bears need to do whatever they can to get him in the building as well? Or is Sweat one where you can live with?
Here's my question on Josh Sweat. Is his production a product of the entire line? Because if you remember when we got Montez Sweat from Washington, that whole line had talent. When they had Chase, they had Deron Payne and Justin. I can't remember the other guy, the other defensive tackle that's still there. They had all four of them. Josh Allen, Josh Allen, not Josh Allen, Jonathan Allen. Jonathan Allen. So all four of those guys were there a few years back, and that was when he essentially had that season where before we got him, he had 6 sacks with Washington, and then he came here, he had 6.5 sacks. And so, he led both teams. My thing is this a product of Jalen Carter causing havoc and creating so much pressure and getting double teamed in the middle? And, the other guys on the team, like the Milton Williams, doing his thing as well. Like
also a free agent. That's one I'm eyeballing.
Yeah. Is that a product of that, where if you get him on this team and he's the only edge rusher, you got an up and coming Javon Dexter. Billings may come back and fill that plug in the middle, but will his production be the same? That's my only question mark with Josh Sweat.
Yeah, listen, it could be a product of the guys around you. And I think that the comment that I would make to that is not to say that you have to move heaven and earth to try and get Josh Sweat. I actually think Josh Sweat is probably your budget option. I don't know if he's getting the baggy bag. And not to say he's not going to get the bag, but the baggy bag is a little different. I would be okay. Like Josh Sweat is a name that I would like to have here. It's not a name that I have to have here. This one I think is interesting though. Another edge name that is out there, and I think where it gets scary is that we would have to see him twice a year. Mr. Former Chicago Bear himself, Khalil Mack. By the way, King Booker World, hilarious. Pat yesterday said, "Freeze like me." I didn't dance at the end of it. I was just frozen. But no, Khalil Mack, best team fit.
Oh boy,
the Green Bay Packers.
I don't like it.
I
don't like it.
The Packers adding Mack to pair with Rashawn Gary would boost their pass rush off the edges. Mack had 6 sacks and 41 pressures in 2024 with the Chargers, and even though he's turning 34 this week, he's still a 3-down force with the steady play speed to heat up the box. We talked about the possibility of bringing Mack back. At a minimum, would you try to bring him back just so that he doesn't end up on the Packers? Because I don't like that.
You could just play keep away because I would have.
I think sometimes you got to play chess. I think that they're not to say that you have to overpay, right? Or at least make the Packers overpay for him, kind of get the bidding war up there. But if Khalil Mack, who is a game worker, and I'm not saying that he's still the same Mack that he once was, is going to go to the Green Bay Packers, where you're going to have to see him twice a year. You know what he can bring to that team. You know the kind of pressure that he can put on display. I would be interested in seeing, hey, listen, what would it take? Right, because I'm expecting to overspend on the offensive line on one side. I guess in that scenario, right, maybe you're drafting somebody on the defensive line.
Yeah.
To try and develop and maybe have Mack come in with a either a 1 year or a 2 year with a player option in that second year type of deal, where you go, hey, look, we want you to finish out here. We want you to be a part of this team one last time.
I would love a Khalil Mack, and obviously I would love to play keep away from the Packers. That again, like I said, that gives me PTSD of Julius Peppers. Like, oh my God, no, don't let him get there, because I still think Khalil Mack has production in him.
Absolutely.
At least for a couple of years. And like you said, if he's a guy who can kind of be a rotational piece at this point in his career, you really do want that kind of guy. To me, he's better than the likes of what we would have already had here in like a DeMarcus Rocker. You have other pieces, and like I said, Billings that was still on the inside. Like, there's things that Khalil Mack can still bring to your team. Also, from a cultural standpoint, the locker room leader, a guy that been there and done that, been at the highest level as a star in this league. And so that's something that you can teach to an Austin Booker and things of that nature. So I would love to bring on a Khalil Mack at a cheap price and to play keep away from our hated rivals.
Yeah, well, listen, I think there's something to be said about that. One more that I did want to get to, but before we do that, Jordan JC, I hate to do this to you, but we do.
You never
over 100 in the chat. Over 200 in the chat. Over 300 in the chat.
Oh man! Oh God, Jesus!
There you go.
Good morning.
Final name on this list that I thought was interested to see possibly going somewhere else was it Kevin Zeitler. Now we know Kevin Zeitler.
I like a Zeitler.
Has spent some time in this Ben Johnson system. Understand now, again, this system is not going. I keep saying this because I feel like Muzz didn't hear it, because all they tell me is this is how this guy fit in this system back then. This is not going to be the same system. But Kevin Zeitler slated as a best fit team to the Tennessee Titans. Talked about the Titans need to rebuild the right side of their offensive line, and they can start by adding a proven vet in Zeitler. He's a physical inside presence with the power to displace defensive tackles and the movement ability, to pull up on a gap scheme. He routinely wins in pass pro using his strong base to hold off interior rushers and posting a pass block win rate of 94.4% with the Detroit Lions. Now, Zeitler's interesting. Listen, the age is the age, right? But
yeah,
Zeitler is going to come in, understand the system, understand kind of where he needs to be. You usually have a couple of pieces that can teach the system. And I think that Zeitler could be one of those guys that you talk about. And like they said last year, now I get it. He did allow 5 sacks last season. It's a lot of sacks.
That's a good number.
But he also posted you got to watch it. Got to watch it, right? A run block grade of 87.2 on PFF, pass block grade of 71.8, had 2 penalties to his name and played 1,047 snaps. I think that a Zeitler would be interesting because of already understanding that system. By the way, and I see Amstel, this is why I say go watch it. How many of the sacks are really on him? Because Braxton is basically attributed no sacks on Caleb Williams. That's why I say go watch it.
Yeah.
And
so it's one of those things where
let me check how many sacks Braxton Jones. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm surprised he's not the first name that pops up on here. They blazing Braxton every other day.
See, that's another thing too, Chaz. I like that.
You know what? I take it back. I take it back. See, I take it back.
What
Braxton
happened?
Jones was attributed 5 sacks on Caleb Williams last year.
Is that on PFF?
That's on PFF.
I don't know, man. PFF be giving us some credit.
So how many did he really get is the question I was just playing.
24.
5 sacks to Braxton Jones last season. He does still grade out as a really good left tackle in this league, though.
I'm fine with Zeitler. That was a name that I initially was intrigued by, and I'm still intrigued by it, depending on who we don't get or we miss out on.
Yeah.
Because of the connection to Ben Johnson and having a lot of the staff come over, or I should say some of the staff come over from here. I kind of thought that if we were to get the offensive line coach from Detroit as well, which we were trying to, that would have kind of been that icing on the cake to kind of attract some of the players, such as a Zeitler, to come on over. Maybe he's not as enticed now because of that. You still have a Dan Richard, who's obviously one of the best names, but I'm fine with the Zeitler. Like you said, up in age, but somebody that hasn't really dealt with a lot of injury history. Again, very good in pass pro. I'm fine with that. Yeah, that would be an upgrade. And he would be somebody who can also mentor possibly another guard that you're getting in the draft. That's another way that you go. As I mentioned before, this draft is guard heavy. So you place him in here for a couple of years, have him mentor the next guy up. And that's the way to go.
Zeitler would be an interesting one. I got to go look at it. I'm not going to sit here and act like I watched every second of Zeitler tape. I probably watched more Dolman than anybody right now because I'm really praying that we get the starting center of the future.
Yeah.
Like I'm praying. I've watched so much center tape this offseason. Like,
jeez.
Jake Majors freaking, bro. Like, I'm like, please, I just need somebody who snaps and blocks. Like, I don't want to set
just fall back. Yeah. Oh my God.
I'm in my room.
Oh my.
But no, man, I think the Zeitler would be somebody interesting. I have to tap in and kind of see where some of those sacks come in, where he ends up. Is it a Jared Goff, getting run right into his man or some kind of situation like that? But the one thing that I will say is that you do know. I think you're going to want a couple of Lions players that are legitimate Lions players. Not, I know we got the wide receivers. Great. I think you want a couple of Lions players that were culture setters. I think you want a couple of Lions players that were leaders in that room.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Who maybe he is a little long in the tooth, but he's going to help you set that standard.
Yeah.
I think that's something that would help the Chicago Bears greatly. And listen, you have no leader. You had no leaders on your offensive or defensive line. That's a problem.
That's a good point. Yeah. The one guy you thought you did, he wasn't really there, and Ryan Bates. Yeah, that's a good point.
Well, listen, even so, if Ryan Bates is the leader of your locker room, you got issues.
Yeah.
I'm hurt. All right, that's it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a problem.
Yeah, you got to show up. Yeah.
J Max said it was like you can't be a leader on the sideline. You can't be a leader from the tent. So it to me, I love what the idea of Ryan Bates is, but I hate the actual execution of it on the field, man.
Absolutely.
But hey, man, appreciate y'all for tuning in, showing love. Check out the full article by Matt Bowen over on ESPN Plus. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page. A lot of good names in there that we didn't bring up. Pterodactyl Pops, remember for 5 months. Sign up for the Breeze super fans out here, man.
The best show for Chicago sports.
We got merch coming.
Oh,
yeah. A little coffee mug action. Steve-O said, leader on the sideline, a coach.
That should be the obvious one.
Oh, man. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, man. For Mr. Media himself, George JC. It's your boy, Pat the Designer, back at it again. Y'all stay safe out there, Chicago. Bed down. One love. Peace.
Hey.
Get out of here, Pterodactyl Pops. He was still on the screen.